The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Ambassador Jae-yun Kim stood tall despite being physically dwarfed by the various alien representatives. The Drillari ambassador, with his 8 appendages and crystalline exoskeleton, leaned toward his aide. "These humans appear so rudimentary," he whispered. "Their vessels barely achieve reliable FTL travel." Ambassador Kim smiled politely, his hearing far better than the aliens suspected. "We are honored to join this esteemed gathering," he announced. "Earth looks forward to peaceful trade relations with all species." Admiral Sumgo Park, standing beside Kim, maintained a serene expression as the Council outlined inspection requirements for all new member species' military capabilities. "Of course," Park agreed. "Our defensive fleet is modest, but sufficient for our needs. We will happily comply with standard inspections." Later, in private chambers, Council Security Director Vexlor confronted his subordinate. "They're hiding something. The humans show none of the fear or desperation typical of emerging species." "Our scans detected nothing unusual in Earth orbit," his assistant replied. "What about rumors of their flagship? This vessel they refuse to discuss. Likely propaganda to appear stronger than they are." Vexlor wasn't convinced. "Perhaps. But I've never seen a species so calm when facing potential annihilation." The blue-skinned Vexlor paced the room, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. The humans puzzled him. Every new species that joined the Council showed the same patterns: relief, gratitude, and a hint of fear. But these humans were different. "Pull up the scan reports again," he ordered his assistant, a small reptilian being named Krex. Krex's clawed fingers moved across the holographic display. "See, standard vessels only. Their largest ship is barely half the size of a Council support craft." Vexlor studied the images closely. 5 human ships orbited Earth, small, boxy vessels with visible thrusters and weapon mounts. Nothing special. "And yet they act like they have the most powerful fleet in the galaxy," he muttered. The door slid open. A tall, slender alien with purple skin entered. This was Elor, head of Council Intelligence. "Still obsessing over the humans?" she asked, her voice musical. "Something doesn't add up," Vexlor replied. "I've watched 17 species join the Council. Each one paraded their military might, eager to prove their worth. The humans showed us 5 outdated ships and called it sufficient." Elor sat down gracefully. "Perhaps they truly are peaceful." "No one is that peaceful," Vexlor countered. "Not in this galaxy." Krex cleared his throat. "Director, we've intercepted some human communications. There are references to something called Project Aegis in their military channels." "Aegis?" Elor's eyes widened. "In human mythology, that's a protective shield carried by their gods." Vexlor's interest piqued. "What else do we know?" "Nothing concrete," Krex admitted, "but there's unusual activity around their moon. Energy signatures that don't match known patterns." "Their moon is dead rock," Elor said dismissively. "We surveyed it decades ago." "Perhaps we should look again," Vexlor suggested. 3 days later, Ambassador Kim stood in the Council chambers again. This time, representatives from all 26 member species attended. The Galactic Council only gathered in full for significant events. Today was Earth's formal acceptance ceremony. Kim bowed slightly as the Council overseer, an ancient being named Tholos, approached. Tholos towered over Kim, 3 meters tall with translucent skin that revealed shifting colors beneath. "Ambassador Kim," Tholos spoke, voice resonating throughout the chamber. "The Council welcomes Earth to our galactic family. Before formalization, we must address the matter of defense capabilities." Kim nodded. "As stated, our fleet is modest. We focus more on cultural and scientific advancement than military might." From the viewing platform, Vexlor watched with narrowed eyes. Tholos continued, "Our scans confirm your orbital defenses are minimal. This puts Earth at risk. The Council can offer protection until your military develops further." Several species representatives nodded in agreement. It was standard practice. New members received protection in exchange for resources and technology. Kim's smile never wavered. We appreciate the generous offer, but Earth can defend itself adequately. A murmur ran through the chamber. Refusing Council protection was unprecedented. The representative from the Raxian Empire, a militaristic species known for their aggression, laughed openly. With what? Your toys? One Raxian destroyer could take your entire planet. Admiral Park stepped forward. We prefer not to discuss our defensive capabilities in detail. It's a matter of security. The Raxian representative's scales darkened with anger. The Council requires transparency. Folos raised a hand for silence. Admiral Park, while we respect your security concerns, the Council must ensure all members can protect themselves and contribute to collective defense. Park and Kim exchanged glances. After a moment, Kim spoke. Perhaps a limited demonstration could be arranged. Not now, but soon. This seemed to satisfy most of the Council. The ceremony proceeded, with Earth officially becoming the 27th member of the Galactic Alliance. As the representatives dispersed, Vexilor approached Kim. Ambassador, I couldn't help noticing your confidence. Most new species are eager for Council protection. Kim's eyes twinkled. Director Vexilor, Earth has survived many challenges. We've learned that appearing weak can sometimes be advantageous. Are you implying you're stronger than you appear? Kim smiled enigmatically. I'm implying nothing. I merely suggest that appearances can be deceiving. Wouldn't you agree? Before Vexilor could respond, Kim excused himself to join the celebration. Later that night, Vexilor met with a secret informant in the lower levels of the Council station. The dimly lit room felt oppressive. What did you find? Vexilor asked. The informant, hidden in shadows, pushed forward a data crystal. Energy readings from Earth's moon. Something is hidden there. Vexilor examined the data. These power signatures, they're enormous. Yes, the informant whispered, and they're increasing daily. What are they building? Not building. Revealing. The informant leaned forward, face briefly illuminated. Whatever they have there, it's been completed for some time. They're simply powering it up. Vexilor felt a chill. Could it be a weapon? If it is, the informant replied, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. As he left the meeting, Vexilor glanced out a viewport toward the distant point of light that was Sol, Earth's star. The humans remained a mystery, but one thing was becoming clear. They were not the simple, peaceful species they pretended to be. Something waited in the shadows of Earth's moon. Something powerful. And soon, the galaxy would discover exactly what the humans were hiding. 3 months after Earth joined the Galactic Council, trouble began. The Raxian Empire suddenly claimed the Proxima system, where humans had built their first colony away from Earth. General Thrix, the military leader of the Raxians, stood before the Council. His scaled skin turned deep red as he spoke. His sharp teeth flashed in the light of the chamber. The Proxima system has been marked for Raxian expansion for centuries, he said, pounding his armored fist on the table. These humans arrived only moments ago in cosmic terms. They must leave immediately. The Council chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives from 26 species all tried to speak at once. Some supported the Raxians. Others defended Earth's right to keep their colony. The noise grew louder until Council Overseer Tholos was forced to activate the sonic dampeners. Through it all, Ambassador Jae-in Kim sat quietly. When given a chance to respond, he simply bowed. I request 2 standard days to consult with Earth's leadership, he said calmly. His calm response surprised many in the chamber. The Proxima colony had over 40,000 human settlers. If lost, it would be a major blow to Earth's standing in galactic society. Vexilor, watching from his security post, frowned. Still no fear, he muttered to his assistant Krex. Even with their colony threatened, they show no panic. 2 days later, The council reconvened. The chamber was packed with representatives and media drones from across the galaxy. The Raxian dispute with Earth had become the biggest story in council space. A large hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed President Taeyeon Choi of Earth, dressed in a simple blue suit. Her face was serious but composed. "Honorable council members," she began, "we have reviewed the Raxian claims to the Proxima system. Our records show that when we established our settlement 3 years ago, no prior claims existed in the official council registry." General Thrix hissed in anger, but President Choi continued. "We established our colony legally and peacefully. We seek no conflict with the Raxian Empire or any council member. However, Proxima remains under Earth protection." General Thrix laughed loudly, displaying rows of sharp teeth. Several junior Raxian officers behind him joined in the laughter. "Protection? With what?" Thrix asked mockingly. "Your primitive warships couldn't withstand a single Raxian cruiser. We have scanned your fleet. You have nothing that can stop us." President Choi's expression remained neutral. "We prefer peace, General. I suggest you do as well." The hologram disappeared. The council erupted into debate once more. Over the next 5 days, tensions grew worse. The Raxian Empire moved a battle fleet to the edge of the Proxima system. 15 massive warships now floated just outside the colony's sensor range. Each ship carried enough firepower to level an entire city. On Earth, the Global Defense Council met in emergency session. Admiral Sumgo Park presented the latest intelligence. "The Raxian fleet outguns anything we have in the Proxima system," he explained. "Our colony has 2 patrol ships and basic orbital defenses." President Choi looked at the holographic display, showing the massive Raxian vessels. "And the Aegis." "Ready," Park replied. "But once deployed, there's no going back. The galaxy will know what we have." Choi nodded slowly. "We've hidden it for long enough. If the Raxians attack, deploy immediately." Back at the council station, Ambassador Kim was visited by Ulvax, a respected council mediator. The small gray-skinned alien appeared deeply worried. "Ambassador Kim," Ulvax said urgently, "the Raxians have issued an ultimatum. They demand that all humans leave the Proxima system within 7 days." Kim nodded calmly, pouring tea for his visitor. "I received the message." "You don't understand," Ulvax continued, his voice rising. "The Raxians are serious. Their battle fleet contains 15 capital ships. Each one is a city destroyer." "How many civilian vessels do they have in the area?" Kim asked, seemingly unconcerned. Ulvax blinked in confusion. "Civilian vessels? None. This is a military operation." "I see," Kim said. "That's good. Fewer innocent bystanders to worry about." Ulvax stared at Kim in disbelief. "Ambassador, with all due respect, your colony will be destroyed. The Raxians have never lost a territorial dispute." "Never." Kim sipped his tea quietly. After a long moment, he set down his cup. "Perhaps," he said thoughtfully, "it's time we introduced ourselves properly." Later that day, Kim requested an emergency council session. Standing before the assembled representatives, he made a surprising announcement. "In light of recent tensions, Earth wishes to invite the Council leadership to witness the commissioning of our primary defensive vessel. Transport will depart from Alpha Station tomorrow at first light." General Thrix snorted. "Another delay tactic. Your 7 days are nearly gone, human. No new ship will save you now." Kim smiled slightly. "We invite the Raxian delegation as well, of course. If you're confident in your military superiority, surely observing our vessel poses no risk." The challenge was clear. Thrix couldn't refuse without appearing afraid. "I will attend personally," Thrix declared. "I look forward to seeing this vessel before we take Proxima." As the council session ended, Vexilor approached Kim in the corridor. "A bold move, Ambassador," he said quietly. "But what exactly are you planning to show us?" Kim's eyes had a strange glint in them. "The truth," Director Vexilor. Sometimes the best-kept secret is the one hidden in plain sight. On Earth, final preparations were underway. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in chambers carved over decades in absolute secrecy, thousands of technicians worked frantically. Inside the main control room, Admiral Park studied the status reports. "Is the Aegis ready?" he asked the project director. The director nodded. "Fully operational. The council representatives won't believe what they're seeing." Park smiled grimly. "That's what I'm counting on. The Raxians need to understand exactly who they're threatening." As the sun rose over Earth the next morning, a transport ship prepared to leave Alpha Station. On board were 27 representatives, including General Thrix and his senior officers. The general gazed out at Earth through a viewport, his scaled features set in a sneer. "Enjoy your colony while you can, humans," he muttered. "In 3 days, it will be ashes." Little did he know that within 24 hours, the entire balance of power in the galaxy would change forever. The transport ship hummed quietly as it prepared for departure from Alpha Station. Inside, 27 representatives from the Galactic Council settled into their seats. The atmosphere was tense. Some delegates whispered to each other, casting suspicious glances at the human crew members. Ambassador Jae-Yun Kim stood at the front of the passenger cabin, his posture relaxed and confident. "Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Council," he announced, "Earth extends an invitation to witness the commissioning of our primary defense vessel. Thank you for accepting our invitation on such short notice." General Thrix of the Raxian Empire snorted loudly. His scales gleamed under the cabin lights as he leaned toward his aide. "Likely some ceremonial craft," he scoffed. "These humans are fools if they think a single ship will impress us." "A desperate attempt to save face," agreed the Vosgian ambassador, her tentacles curling in amusement. Across the cabin, the ancient Tellurian diplomat remained silent. Unlike the others, she showed no signs of amusement or contempt. Her luminescent skin pulsed with concern, shifting from pale blue to deep purple. Director Vexilor noticed her reaction. He moved to sit beside her. "You seem troubled, Elder Nari," he said quietly. The Tellurian turned her large, silver eyes toward him. "My people have known humans longer than most. We observed their world for centuries before contact. They have always been unusual." "In what way?" "They build things differently," she replied. "Where we seek harmony, they embrace contradiction. Where we perfect a method, they explore a dozen alternatives." Before Vexilor could ask more questions, Captain Minjin Lee entered the cabin. The human officer bowed respectfully to the assembled delegates. "Welcome aboard the Horizon," he said. "Our journey to the viewing site will take approximately 3 hours. Please make yourselves comfortable. We have prepared refreshments in accordance with all biological requirements." As the transport ship detached from Alpha Station, the delegates moved to the viewing ports. Earth hung below them, a blue and white jewel against the blackness of space. Several council warships patrolled nearby, part of the security detail for the high-ranking visitors. "I see no shipyards," remarked the Drillari ambassador, his crystalline exoskeleton clicking as he moved. "Where do humans build their vessels?" "Perhaps they will take us to an orbital facility," suggested another delegate. Hours passed. The transport ship moved away from Earth rather than toward it. Many delegates grew restless. "Captain," the Drillari ambassador finally inquired, "where exactly are we going?" Captain Lee smiled. "Luna Base. It's been there since before we achieved spaceflight." The delegates exchanged confused glances. Earth's moon was a dead rock. Council surveys had mapped it decades ago, finding nothing of interest beyond primitive research outposts. As they approached the moon, General Thrix grew increasingly irritated. "This is a waste of time," he growled. "Their colony's deadline expires in 2 days. Are they hoping to delay the inevitable with this tourism?" The transport ship descended toward a large crater on the far side of the moon, away from Earth. The crater appeared ordinary, just one of thousands marking the lunar surface. "There's nothing here," said the Vosgian ambassador, peering through the viewport. Captain Lee's smile never wavered. Appearances can be deceiving, Ambassador. The ship slowed as it approached the center of the crater. Suddenly, the surface below them began to change. What had appeared to be solid rock began to separate. Massive segments of the crater floor slid apart, revealing darkness beneath. The delegates gasped collectively. Even General Thrix fell silent. "Impossible," whispered Vexlor. "Our surveys detected nothing." As the crater opened wider, they could see it was not just an entrance, but an enormous bay. The opening was large enough to accommodate even the largest Council battleships. The transport ship descended into the darkness. Lights activated along the walls of the vast underground chamber, revealing a facility of staggering proportions. The delegates pressed against the viewports, their expressions a mixture of shock and awe. "Welcome," said Captain Lee calmly, "to humanity's SHIELD program." The transport ship landed on a platform near the center of the facility. As the delegates disembarked, they found themselves in an underground complex that stretched for kilometers in every direction. Thousands of human workers moved purposefully through the facility. Advanced machinery hummed everywhere. "This facility has existed for over 70 years, explained Ambassador Kim as he led the group along a walkway. "It began as a simple research station during our early space exploration. Over time, it evolved." "You concealed this from Council scans," accused Vexlor. "How?" "Absorption technology," replied Kim. "The entire facility is surrounded by materials that absorb scanning waves rather than reflecting them. To your sensors, this place appears as solid rock." General Thrix's scales had darkened to a deep crimson. "What is the meaning of this deception?" "The Council requires full disclosure of military installations." "We disclosed all our active military installations," Kim replied calmly. "This facility was classified as research and development, which under Council Bylaw 47.3 does not require full disclosure during initial membership periods." The group reached a large observation deck overlooking what appeared to be a massive construction bay. But instead of seeing multiple ships under construction, they saw only darkness. "Where is this defense vessel you promised to show us?" demanded General Thrix. Ambassador Kim nodded to Captain Lee, who spoke into his communication device. "Illuminate Bay 1." Lights activated in sequence, revealing something that made even the most composed delegates gasp in shock. Beneath them floated a single ship of enormous proportions. Unlike the blocky, utilitarian designs of human vessels they had seen before, this ship was sleek and elegant. Its hull was a deep, non-reflective black that seemed to absorb light. No visible weapons protruded from its surface, yet something about its design suggested incredible power. "This," said Ambassador Kim quietly, "is the EDS Aegis." "One ship," General Thrix laughed, though his laughter sounded forced. "You expect to defend your colonies with a single vessel." "Sometimes," replied Kim, "one is enough." Elder Nari, the Tellurian diplomat, moved closer to the observation window. Her luminescent skin now pulsed rapidly with a deep violet light. "How long?" she asked softly. "How long have you had this capability?" "The Aegis has been operational for 15 years, Kim answered. "We began its construction before we made official contact with the Council." The delegates looked at each other in stunned silence. The humans had possessed this ship even before revealing themselves to the galactic community. "Tomorrow," said Ambassador Kim, "you will see what the Aegis can do. For now, please join us for a reception. I'm sure you have many questions." As the delegates were led away, General Thrix remained at the window, staring at the mysterious vessel. For the first time since the conflict began, doubt showed clearly on his scaled face. "Perhaps," he muttered to himself, "we have underestimated these humans." Morning came to Luna Base. The alien delegates had spent the night in specially prepared quarters inside the massive underground facility. Many had slept poorly, their minds racing with questions about what they had seen. Now they gathered on a large observation platform overlooking the main hangar bay. The vast underground space stretched for kilometers, carved from the moon's rocky heart. Despite its enormous size, it contained only a single vessel. Admiral Sungo Park stood before the assembled delegates, his uniform crisp and formal. Beside him stood Director Zhu Kang, a small woman with intense eyes. Council representatives, Admiral Park announced, his voice echoing in the vast space. I present the EDS Aegis. The ship before them hung suspended in the center of the hangar. It defied conventional design principles. No visible weapons bristled from its obsidian hull. No engine nacelles protruded. It resembled a perfect ellipsoid, smooth and featureless, except for a subtle silver insignia of Earth on its forward section. This is your warship. General Thrix laughed, his sharp teeth flashing. Where are its weapons? Its shield generators. Several other delegates joined in his laughter, though it sounded nervous rather than mocking. Director Zhu Kang stepped forward. Though she was the smallest person in the room, something in her manner commanded attention. The Aegis doesn't have conventional weapons or shields, she explained calmly, because it doesn't need them. She raised her hand and made a simple gesture. The ship's surface rippled like liquid, sending waves of motion across its hull. The entire hull is composed of programmable matter controlled by quantum intelligence, Kang continued. It can adapt to any attack instantaneously. The delegates murmured among themselves. Programmable matter existed in theory, but no species had successfully created it at this scale. Impossible, stated the Vosgian ambassador. The energy requirements alone would be beyond your current understanding. Kang finished for her. Yes, General Thrix snorted in disbelief. Pretty light shows prove nothing. If this ship is truly a defense vessel, demonstrate its capabilities. Admiral Park nodded. We anticipated your skepticism. A demonstration has been prepared. He spoke into his communication device. Begin demonstration sequence alpha. From openings in the hangar ceiling, a dozen small drones descended. They positioned themselves around the Aegis, their weapon systems glowing with energy. These drones are programmed with attack patterns based on standard Council military tactics, explained Admiral Park. They will use real weapons, though at reduced power. The drones began firing energy beams at the Aegis. The delegates expected to see shields activating, or the ship taking evasive action. Instead, something extraordinary happened. As each energy beam approached the ship, it simply disappeared. The Aegis didn't deflect the attacks. It absorbed them completely, its hull rippling slightly at each point of impact. The Aegis doesn't fight in the traditional sense, explained Director Kang. It nullifies weapons, engines, communications, any energy system that targets the Aegis or anything under its protection simply stops working. She gestured again, and the demonstration shifted to its next phase. The drones altered their attack pattern, now firing missiles. As the missiles approached the Aegis, they suddenly lost power and drifted harmlessly in space before being collected by small service robots. One moment they have power, the next moment they don't, Kang said. No explosions, no collateral damage, just neutralization. The alien delegates watched in stunned silence. What they were witnessing violated their understanding of physics. Vexlor stepped forward. Director Kang, what you're demonstrating would require technology centuries beyond what we believe humans possessed. Kang smiled slightly. We took a different path than most species. While others focused on building bigger weapons, we sought to understand energy itself. The demonstration continued. Now the drones attempted to use tractor beams to move the Aegis. The moment the energy fields touched the ship's surface, the drones themselves lost power and drifted lifelessly. The effect works in both directions, explained Admiral Park. Any hostile system that connects with the Aegis can be traced back to its source and neutralized. Elder Nari, the ancient Tellurian diplomat, moved closer to the observation window. Her luminescent skin pulsed with deep blue light. One ship, she whispered, her voice carrying in the sudden silence. They built only one because they only needed one. General Thrix had stopped laughing. His scales had paled to a sickly yellow. "If what you claim is true," he said, his voice uncharacteristically subdued, "this vessel could neutralize an entire battle fleet." "Yes," confirmed Admiral Park simply. The Drillari ambassador's crystalline body clicked as he moved forward. "But surely such technology has limits. Energy requirements, range constraints." Director Kang nodded. "All technology has limits. The Aegis cannot be everywhere at once. It requires considerable power to operate at full capacity. But where it is present, it is decisive." "Show us its offensive capabilities," demanded General Thrix suddenly. Admiral Park and Director Kang exchanged glances. "The Aegis was not designed as an offensive weapon," Park explained. "Its purpose is protection." "Everything can be used as a weapon," insisted Thrix. Director Kang sighed. "Very well." She spoke into her communication device. A large target drone moved into position at the far end of the hangar. It was the size of a small cruiser. "Aegis," she said clearly. "Defensive Protocol 7. Minimal effect." For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a barely visible wave of energy extended from the Aegis toward the target drone. When it reached the drone, all systems on the target simply shut down. No explosion, no visible damage. The drone simply drifted, completely lifeless. "The Aegis can extend its nullification field," explained Kang. "Any ship caught within that field loses all power, life support, engines, weapons, everything." The implications were clear. The Aegis could disable an entire fleet without firing a single conventional weapon. "And your colony at Proxima," Vexilor said slowly, "it has such protection." Ambassador Kim, who had remained silent until now, stepped forward. "The Aegis can reach any human settlement within hours," he said, "and in case of immediate threats, we have deployed smaller versions of this technology to all our colonies." General Thrix's jaw clenched tightly. "You've been hiding this capability all along." "Not hiding," corrected Admiral Park. "Simply not advertising. There's a difference." As the demonstration concluded, the delegates were led to a conference room for further discussions. The mood had changed dramatically from the previous day. There was no more mockery, no more dismissive comments about human technology. Elder Neri fell into step beside Ambassador Kim as they walked. "Your people took a great risk revealing this technology," she said quietly. Kim nodded. "Sometimes peace requires showing what war would cost." "The Council will never look at humans the same way again," she warned. Kim smiled sadly. "We know, but we prefer respect to fear. The Aegis was never meant to threaten, only to ensure that threats against us would never be carried out." As they entered the conference room, the fate of the Proxima colony and humanity's place in the galactic community hung in the balance. But one thing was certain: no one would underestimate humans again. The Raxian withdrawal order came within hours of the demonstration. The Raxian Empire, once so confident in their military might, suddenly found urgent reasons to recall their battle fleet from Proxima. General Thrix himself appeared before the Galactic Council the next day. His scales had lost their bright color, now a pale shade that signaled submission in Raxian body language. "The Raxian Empire wishes to rescind all claims to the Proxima system," he announced, his voice lacking its usual power. "We recognize the human settlement as legitimate and seek peaceful relations with Earth going forward." The council chambers remained unusually quiet as Thrix spoke. Every representative understood what had happened. The balance of power had shifted overnight. In the following weeks, the ripples spread throughout the galaxy. Species that had dismissed humans as primitive newcomers now sent trade delegations to Earth. Scientific communities requested exchange programs with human researchers. Military analysts from every major power tried to understand the implications of the Aegis technology. 3 weeks after the demonstration, Earth hosted a diplomatic reception at their embassy on the Council Station. The grand hall was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Many had never bothered to visit the human embassy before. Admiral Sungo Park stood near a large window overlooking space. He sipped a drink and watched the gathering with quiet satisfaction. Several alien dignitaries approached him, their curious questions barely disguised as casual conversation. "Admiral Park," said the Drilleri ambassador, his crystalline body reflecting the room's lights, "a question has been troubling me since the demonstration. Why reveal the Aegis now? You could have kept it secret longer." Admiral Park considered his answer carefully. "We prefer peace, Ambassador. The Aegis wasn't built to conquer but to prevent conquest. We revealed it only when necessary. But such technology could have made you the dominant power immediately," insisted a reptilian diplomat from the Trescian worlds. "You could have dictated terms to the entire council." Ambassador Jae Kim, overhearing the conversation, moved to join them. "That was never our goal," he explained. "Throughout our history, humans have learned that true security comes not from domination, but from mutual respect." The reptilian diplomat blinked slowly. A strange philosophy for a species that created such a powerful weapon. "Perhaps that's why we created it," Kim replied with a smile. Across the room, Director Zhu Kang stood alone, observing the gathering. The ancient Tellurian diplomat, Elder Nari, approached her. The elder's luminescent skin glowed with a gentle blue light that signaled curiosity. "Your species puzzles me," Nari admitted. "You created a weapon beyond anything we've seen, yet you hide it until threatened." Kang smiled gently. "The Aegis isn't really a weapon. It's a shield, and the best shields are those you never need to raise." Nari's skin pulsed as she considered this. "A defensive philosophy, then. Yet you must know that revealing such technology changes everything. The Council will want access to it. The technology remains exclusively human," Kang replied firmly. "But we are willing to discuss protective arrangements for peaceful species who need assistance." The elder nodded slowly. "Not conquest through force, but influence through protection." "Clever." "Not clever," Kang corrected. "Just different. We took a different path." Meanwhile, Vexilor found himself in conversation with President Taeyin Choi, who had arrived from Earth for the reception. The security director still seemed troubled. "Madam President, one thing still concerns me," he said quietly. "If the Aegis technology has existed for 15 years, why join the Council at all? You clearly didn't need our protection." President Choi's eyes crinkled with amusement. "Director Vexilor, contrary to what you might think, humans don't wish to stand alone in the universe. We seek connection, understanding, exchange of ideas. The Council offers that opportunity, even though many species look down on you." "Especially then," she replied. "How else would minds change?" As the evening progressed, small groups of humans and aliens mingled, sharing stories and ideas. Cultural barriers that had seemed insurmountable weeks ago now dissolved in conversation and laughter. General Thrix, standing stiffly in a corner, watched it all with a mixture of resentment and fascination. Ambassador Kim noticed his isolation and approached him. "General, I'm glad you could attend," Kim said, offering a drink. Thrix accepted it reluctantly. "The Raxian Empire respects strength. You have earned our attention." "Not through battle, though," Kim observed. Thrix made a sound that might have been a laugh. "No, that is what troubles me most. For 10,000 years, Raxian doctrine has held that true power comes through superior firepower. Your Aegis challenges everything we believe." "Perhaps it's time for new beliefs," Kim suggested gently. Throughout the reception, conversations like these continued. A new understanding began to emerge. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through conquest, but through innovation, by reimagining the very concept of defense. 2 months later, the Council convened a special session. On the agenda was a proposal for a new defensive alliance, with Earth playing a central role in protecting emerging species from aggressive powers. The vote passed unanimously, even the Raxian Empire voting in favor. As Admiral Park and Director Kang left the council chambers after the historic vote, they paused at a viewing port overlooking the stars. "Do you think they truly understand?" Kang asked quietly. Park smiled. "They're beginning to. The idea that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the power to protect. It's a radical concept for many of them. And the Aegis remains just one application of the technology," Kang murmured. "They still don't know what else we've developed. And they don't need to," Park replied firmly. "Some secrets should remain secret until needed." As they watched, a small Earth vessel departed from the station, heading home. Unlike before, several council ships moved respectfully out of its path. The message was clear. Humans were no longer seen as primitive newcomers. Throughout the galaxy, species that had once dismissed humans now watched with newfound respect. The species that had appeared so vulnerable had revealed not just technological prowess, but a philosophy that challenged millennia of galactic thinking. The humans had brought something new to the stars. The radical idea that the strongest defense comes not from fear, but from respect. That true power lies not in weapons of destruction, but in the ability to protect what matters most. And as Earth's influence grew in the following years, this philosophy spread gradually through the Council and beyond, changing the galaxy one mind at a time.